तो वो प्रिया जी वी कैन स्टार्ट.
A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and dear guests. Welcome to this very special meeting of the Gabbys Online Advanced Toastmasters Club, the Speech Marathon. Welcome to this power-packed meeting, which comprises of speeches and evaluations. And I'm sure all of you are going to witness great speeches, great evaluation speeches. So let's begin. I'm your Toastmaster. I'm your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting, Toastmaster Priya Singh. Before we begin, I would like to highlight some of the key guidelines to ensure a smooth and productive meeting. Our session today is for approximately 2 hours. You all are requested to stay till the end of the meeting to get maximum benefit out of this meeting. Request all of you to keep your videos on and audio off throughout the meeting unless you're called upon to speak or you need to speak during the meeting. While at Toastmasters, there is no restriction to speak on sensitive topics such as sex, religion, and politics. Here at the Gabbys, we request all participants and guests to be mindful and refrain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. At the Gabbys, we stand by our club mission to create a supportive and positive learning environment where members can build their communication and leadership skills, resulting in increased confidence and personal growth. So, without further ado, I would like to hand over the virtual stage to the presiding officer of today's meeting, Toastmaster Samita Kar. Toastmaster Samita Kar is a three-time Triple Crown Award winner who has completed 3 pathways. She represents the club at area level contests, a dynamic soft skills trainer with a dream to empower women leaders. She boosts confidence, communication, and careers. An avid storyteller and a passionate traveler with a bag full of stories. So let's put our hands together and welcome the presiding officer for today evening, Toastmaster Samita Kar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Priya. Let us hear from our Sergeant of Art. She, like every single meeting, starts a meeting right on time with high energy. Today, I welcome everyone to this special meeting of our speech marathon. There are a couple of guests, and I'll just reiterate that Toastmaster is a 100-year-old nonprofit organization. It was started by Dr. Rahul V and helped millions of people become more confident speakers and communicators and leaders. Today, in this special session, we will be having our Toastmaster of the Day guiding us through the amazing speeches and then, of course, the evaluation section. Now, we have someone who is in the finance profession for over more than 23 years. His experiences across IT, health sector, bio startups, retail, e-commerce. He's a chartered accountant and alumnus of IIM, Bangalore, and Columbia Business School. He's there to be the Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Sachin Jaiswal. Let us hear it for him.
Thank you, Presiding Officer Toastmaster Samita Kar, for a kind introduction. And good evening, Toastmasters and guests. And let's gear up for a great speech marathon, carrying the legacy of our Toastmasters, which was founded in 1905 by Mr. Rahul V Medley. We are having a speech marathon, a celebration of words, ideas, and voices. Just as marathon tests endurance, speech marathon tests one's creativity and confidence. So in today's speech marathon, 8 speakers will be participating and they will be given feedback by evaluators. And to help the speakers and evaluators keeping track of time, we have Toastmaster Isha playing the role of timer. Toastmaster Isha is a pro-life person. She likes chaos and being busy. Over to you, Toastmaster Isha. Please explain your role.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I am your timer for today. My name is Toastmaster Isha for today's speech marathon. As a timer, my role is to help speakers stay within their allotted time and practice effective time management. I will be showing the virtual backgrounds or as follows. Green. This is my green background. One moment. Here it is. This is green when the speaker has reached the minimum qualifying time, yellow when the speaker is at midway point, and red when the speaker has reached the maximum time. Speakers, you will have 30 seconds of after the red signal to wrap up your speech. I will also time the evaluations. Each evaluator will have 2 to 3 minutes with green at 2 and yellow at 2.5 and and red at 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Isha. Now, let's listen, cheer, and be inspired by amazing speeches we are about to hear today. Our speaker number one is Toastmaster Jay Pareikh. Evaluate and the evaluator is
This part is coming. Yeah,
and the evaluator is Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas. I will Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas. Are you there? Can you please confirm your presence?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So speaker number one, Toastmaster Jay, is attending part dynamic leadership, level 1, project 1. The project name is Icebreaker Speech, and project objective is for member to introduce herself to the club and learn basic structure of speech. The speech duration is 4 to 6 minutes. Now let me introduce Toastmaster Jay Pareikh. Toastmaster Jay Pareikh is a second-year student at VIT Vellore with a strong passion for artificial intelligence and machine learning. He believes in learning by doing what drives him to pursue hands-on projects and real-world challenges. He thrives in the fast-paced environment of hackathons, where he channels his creativity to build impactful solutions that make a difference in people's life. Wow, what a great introduction. So Toastmaster Jay, the missing pieces to success, Toastmaster Jay.
Have you ever failed an exam? Well, I have, multiple times. And today I'm here to talk about why failure is sometimes the missing piece to success. Growing up, my family had to relocate a lot from one state to another, with my dad living separately for his job, until we finally settled in Bangalore. But because of the constant change in schools and environment, I never had an opportunity to develop a strong base. And this really affected my communication skills. I was always a below average kid who feared PTMs, getting the common comment that he is very talkative, doesn't focus in class, and very naughty. And I was put to tuition in basically every subject. This continued till seventh grade when my parents decided to change schools. And I wrote an entrance test for a school, and well, I failed. Fortunately, the school gave me a chance to write another entrance test after a few months, and they gave me the same question paper, and guess what? I failed again. But they still gave me the admission. Maybe persistence is skill after all. Turns out this is a new branch of a very popular school, and not having many students, they gave me admission on the basis that I would improve my English. The whole ordeal hit this 12-year-old me really hard, and I actually started studying. I studied the whole summer to catch up with others. And at the new school, I fortunately met a very good group of friends who got me into the world of novels and amazing teachers, which improved my English communication significantly. During these years, I also got into computers. I specifically game development. I spent my whole free time trying to make games and learning how to make games. And this obsession went from one thing to another, such as web programming to Photoshop to video editing, and finally setting into AIML. For now, going back to ninth grade, Corona hit. And like every other kid, I got distracted and into the worlds of games, YouTube, and anime, which caused my grades to fall again. I almost failed in my pre boards and got an average 85% in boards. I mentally prepared myself to take on the challenge of taking admission in an IIT. I took admission in the Narayana Institute. I was once again fortunate to get an amazing class, friends, and teachers. I studied from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day for 2 years with my friends. I wrote my first mains. I got a faulty computer. It shut down multiple times during the exam, every time I tried to submit an answer. And the staff not being very cooperative, I not only lost precious time, but my complete flow, which ultimately caused my exam to go horrible. Coming home crying, with my mom comforting me and calling life unfair, I stopped studying for over a month, which caused me to get another 85, this time in 12th boards. But due to the constant support of my parents, I had the courage to take up the mains and advance as another challenge. My second mains went pretty good. I got a I got good marks, but due to the high average, I got a 98 percentile, which is qualifying for advance. I flunked my advance exam, not due to an external factor, but because I went completely blank even after 2 years of hard work. And at the end, I got admission in VIT with a pretty good rank. Now, this is not some crazy success story going from nothing to IIT and all general happy ending you would consider. But I consider this as a win for myself. Going from my parents finding schools for me that give direct admission 11th without seeing 10th result, as I might just fail, to going to one of the most prestigious universities in India despite so many failures. And this is what failure teaches you. When you fail, you either accept that and you improve at an unimaginable pace, or you go completely stand still. It's always up to you. Maybe if I didn't stop studying for over 1 month during the crucial point after my first mains, I would be in an IIT. And at the end, that is what failure taught me, and it will keep teaching me. And I'm just getting started. There are many more of these on the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jay. And let's give a standing ovation to Toastmaster Jay for the ice-breaking speech. I'll request everyone to stand and give a standing ovation. Excellent speech, Toastmaster Jay. And yeah, you took us through your, how you got admission in VIT. It's a great story. With this, I'll move to our speaker number 2, Toastmaster Renuka Kaushal. And evaluator is Toastmaster Gaurav Babu. Toastmaster Gaurav, can you please confirm your presence?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Now, Toastmaster Renu is attempting Path Persuasive Influence, Level 1, Project 1. Project again is an icebreaker speech. Project objective is for member to introduce themselves to a club and learn basic structure of speech. Timer, please note, speech duration is 4 to 6 minutes. Toastmaster Renu Kaushal is a certified soft skills and POS trainer and an aspiring image consultant. A triple crown winner and path breaker, Renu is deeply passionate about connecting with people, understanding their stories, and empowering them to grow through meaningful conversations. Beyond her professional work, she enjoys cooking and gardening activities that help her stay centered. Toastmaster Renu, the bright side lens, Toastmaster Renu.
Fellow Toastmasters, the movie names like The Lone Ranger, John Carter, Batman and Robin. Okay, if you are not into English movies, maybe the Hindi movies like Swades, Lakshya, Tamasha. Do they sound similar or familiar to you? So, what is common among all of these? Well, they all are big budget movies with star casts. The big stars are casted in these movies. Big directors are directing these movies, but still, they all are big time flops. Yes, they are flop movies. I still remember myself going out with some of my colleagues and friends to watch one such movie, for days, and that too in theater, some 20 years back. And most of us were there to get charmed by the hero of the movie, the Shah Rukh Khan. And trust me, Shah Rukh Khan didn't disappoint us a bit. So, what actually did it disappoint us? It was the storyline. No drama, no action, no dance numbers. And just half an hour into the movie, I felt a gentle nudge. My friend sitting next was like, Renu, can we leave? Can we leave now? It's so boring. And there I was pleading dramatically. Please, can we just wait for some more time? The movie just started. The story is building up. But all my pleading, it failed miserably. They literally dragged me out. I just an hour into the movie, and I just couldn't help asking them, what happened? Didn't you notice the beautiful cinematography? Couldn't you admire the background score? And what about the Shah Rukh? The Shah Rukh that we went there to watch. And my friends were like giving me those angry and dirty looks. Yes, Toastmasters, I am that odd person out in the group who can find something good in every movie, even a movie that will question your life choices. You name a flop, maybe Thugs of Hindustan or Tashin, and I will probably say, oh, that's a good movie. At least their costumes were good. So let's once again travel back about 10 years in time to a very different chapter of my life. Now, picture me in the kitchen, stirring something aromatic, enjoying the ahs and ums of sounds of my little ones, soaking myself in the joys of motherhood, hosting birthday parties for family, for friends. And once again, a nudge from a very well-meaning friends. Renu, why do you need to cook? Just hire a maid. Why do you host people at home? It is so much mess. Invite them to a restaurant instead. Toastmasters. Probably for them, cooking and hostings were some tiring chores. But for me, they were expressions of love, care, and connections. Today, these memories, they make me realize something. It is not the activity that matters, it is the attitude that we bring into it. When you love what you do, something simple like chopping onions or doodling on a piece of paper, they both can seem like meditation. So over the years, this habit of finding the good hasn't just stayed with movies or home gatherings for me. Rather, it has become the way of my life, the way I live, the way I laugh or look at life. As a trainer today, it has helped me celebrate my trainees. Yes, their small wins, see their good heart behind their mistakes or their lies, probably, because it is all about the effort that is going, the intent that is going. Because when you notice the effort, Instead of the flaw, the people appreciate you for that. They open up, and the influence that happens very naturally. And that is what persuasive influence truly means to me. It is not about changing someone's mind. It is about helping them see the brighter side of their own story. Yes, I am that audience member who watches movie till the end credit rolls. And not because I'm waiting for some secret scene in the movie, but because I wear my bright side lens. A lens that helps me notice beauty in simplicity, meaning in mistakes, and values in efforts. Today, as I begin my journey on the persuasive influence path, I hope to continue influencing more and more people, and not through arguments or authority, but through appreciation, optimism, and empathy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Renu. And again, I'll request everyone to give a standing ovation. Again, it's an icebreaker speech. And a great speech, Toastmaster Renu, I must say. And I must say that even I watch flop movies till the end. Maybe for a different reason, but I also watch flop movies till the end. Maybe I'm a movie buff. So thank you. And now we'll move to our next speaker. Our next speaker is DTM Sourav Dutta. Evaluator is TM Pulkit Gupta. TM Pulkit Gupta, can you confirm your presence?
Sure, Sachin.
Okay. So DTM Sourav is attempting path enhancing humor. Level 1, Project 1. Again, icebreaker speech. Objective for member to introduce themselves to a club. Timer, please note the time duration is 4 to 6 minutes. DTM Sourav doesn't need introduction, but still have to introduce him. DTM Sourav is a two-time distinguished Toastmasters who has completed 11 Toastmaster pathways. Wow. With over 20 years of leadership experience at companies like HP, Target, and JCPenney, he's a seasoned expert in analytics, strategy, and marketing. Now a social entrepreneur, he co-founded Practive in 2020 to support students, MSME, non-profits, and women entrepreneurs. A proud father and lifelong learner, Saurav is passionate about empowering others through learning and leadership. DTM Saurav, funny me, DTM Saurav.
Anyone here who has a food item that you absolutely hate, like despise it to the core, just can't have it? I mean, it's just yuck. No one? Not possible. Yes, Jyothi? What's that food item you absolutely hate?
I won't say hate, but I will not go that side. Is the chart item where they throw in the imli, there's chili, there's everything a mix, and it blows my head. My hair is falling out. So that's something I'll never go near. Thank you.
Okay. What about you, Renu? What's that food item that you absolutely hate?
I hate avocados. I
Avocado.
simply do.
Lovely. So if you are served an avocado, what will you do? And you are forced to eat it.
It will
There are
take
two
me an hour
ways.
to finish.
Exactly. There are two ways of dealing with that. One, you take an hour to finish, and then you wait for everyone to leave and you slyly put it in the dustbin. Or if you don't have that option, you finish that first, have a big glass of water, gulp it, thank your stars that there's only one on the table, and then move on to the items that you like. Humor, for me, was what avocado is for Ren. I absolutely hated humor. And humor and me, we had only one thing in common, and that is we disliked each other. I hate laughing. I hate smiling. I hate people who laugh too much. I hate people who smile too much. I think this world is a pretty serious place, and we have got enough reasons to be disappointed and disheartened. So why do we laugh all the time? How many of you have heard this quote? Seldom he smiles, and smiles in such a sort, as if he mocked himself and scorned his spirit that could be moved at smiling at anything. Anyone who wrote this and for whom? This was written by William Shakespeare in Julius Caesar for a character called Cassius. Lucky Shakespeare did not know me, because he would have written something similar about me, or maybe even worse, because I was exactly what he described. If I would ever smile, I would smile on myself, smirking that I found something worth smiling in whatever just said. Now, when a person like this takes up a path like engaging humor, not by choice but out of compulsion, because he has to set the example in front of his club that this is also a path that you can walk, what does he do? Simple. He finishes off it really quick, has a big glass of water, and just tries to forget whatever just happened. And that's exactly what I did when I took up engaging humor for the first time. I finished engaging humor path in 4 weeks. While it may sound like bragging, here's the reality. I couldn't just extend that torture any further. The stress of cracking jokes in every second speech was extremely torturous for me. And I decided to make it more torturous by trying to do a lot of experiments with it. I tried to crack jokes in different clubs across the world, in different countries. In that journey, I realized 2 things. One, it's hard to make Indians laugh, but it's harder to make non-Indians laugh. I tried cracking jokes with Europeans and Americans and failed miserably because they found my jokes too lame or too naive or too stupid to even smirk at it. The second, what I also realized is that every one of us have a genre of humor. We just need to find the funny side of me. What's my way of funny? I started with slapstick comedy, tried to do some howling act, hooting act, tried to imitate my pet dog in one of my speeches. No one laughed. People looked at with sympathy. Midlife crisis, sort of. All good. A few people said, "Are you okay?" after the speech, but no one told me good job. After that, I was in one of the meetings in US when I met a very seasoned Toastmaster. And this man gave me a very sanely advice. He said, Sourav, we all have a funny bone. No matter how much you disagree with me, the fact is you do have a funny bone. You just need that spark and you just need that moment to discover what is there in you which makes you funny. Try to find that out. And then I started reading about humor. And then I gave a speech on jokes. Who gives a speech on jokes? And you know what? This was a keynote speech on jokes. Yes, a 40-minute speech on what is jokes, where did jokes originate, who cracked the first joke in the world, what jokes failed miserably. The evaluator who evaluated me that day said that this is the first time I was reading about jokes and was not laughing on it. But that actually helped me understand one thing, that I have the ability to laugh on myself, to make myself the object of my humor. I discovered something called self-deprecating humor. But this discovery happened when I was in level 5. By then, the path was already over. And I started regretting. What if I could go back and do this path one more time? Now, my club is a very generous club. They reward small achievements with big rewards. So when I won, I got a podium finish at the district evaluation contest My club was gracious enough to give me a new path, and I chose engaging humor. Because now I want to go slow, go steady, enjoy every speech, every project, do it multiple times perhaps to my heart's content. I want to live humor, love humor, and laugh, and make all of you laugh as I walk down this path, knowing fully well that I may not have a funny bone, but in this process, I will definitely find my funny tone. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Sourav. And again, being icebreaker speech, let's give him a standing ovation.
I will not stand. Okay.
And I totally agree with you. Humor and laughter is the toughest. To make other people laugh is the toughest thing. And I wish you a lot of success. I see you, have grown as a good, and you have delivered humorous speeches in the club. So I think you have really come a long way. Thank you to DTM Sourav. Now, with this, I'll move to our next speaker. Our next speaker is DTM Nancy Goel. Evaluator is DTM Rajanikanth Reddy. DTM Rajanikanth Reddy, please confirm your presence.
Toastmaster Sachin, I'm present. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Now, DTM Nancy is attempting persuasive influence path level 1, project number 2. Project name is writing a speech with a purpose. Timer, please note the time duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Now again, DTM Nancy is someone who doesn't need any introduction. But I have to introduce. DTM Nancy Goel is a director and partner at Practive Consulting and Training LLP, a vibrant consulting and training services company. We serve MSME, non-profits and corporates across India. She has more than 10 years of entrepreneurial experience and a strong expertise in business intelligence and data analytics. Nancy is the charter president of the Gabbys and currently serving as VP Education of Gabbys Club. DTM Nancy, 4 P's of marketing, 4 P's of marketing, DTM Nancy.
After living, laughing, and loving the previous speech, I'm not sure how many of you are ready to soak in some serious subject. 4 P's of marketing. Well, just to check how many of you are awake with me, I have a few questions for all of you. Raise of hands if you have tried your hands at marketing. 1, 2. Raise of hands. Keep your hands raised if you have got a LinkedIn page, not a LinkedIn profile, but a LinkedIn page, a company page, or a website. Raise of hands if you have got a social media profile. Many of you are raising your hands now, okay? One way or the other, for those of you who are off camera, for those of you who are not participating, I assume we are not living in the 80s or the 70s or the 60s or the dinosaurs age where we don't have any social media profile. All of us sitting here on Zoom, attending this meeting on Zoom, have tried our hand at a social media post. One social media post. It could be Orkut, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, LinkedIn, or any place. Well, you have tried it once. When we are going out and posting about something, what we are trying to do? Whenever we are posting about something, we are trying to put ourselves out there. It could be our services, it could be who we are, it could be a product that we are trying to sell. So at the end of the day, every one of you sitting here have tried their hands at marketing something, branding, personal branding, professional branding, or branding your services or products. Everything comes under marketing. So those of you who didn't raise your hands in the very first go, I must say all of you have tried your hands at marketing. But at Practive, as our Toastmaster of the day has introduced me, that I have been running this business called Practive Consulting and Training LLP. At Tractive, we look at marketing as a whole. What do I mean by as a whole? When somebody comes to us with a problem saying, I have tried everything for social media, but it's not working it out for me. Well, social media is a channel of marketing. I have tried everything with my website, the search engine optimization and whatnot, but it's not working out for me. It's one channel of marketing, maybe Pinterest, Orkut, or any other platform. It's one channel of marketing, but that's not cool marketing. So, what we are going to talk right now is how do we at Tractive look at marketing with the 4 Ps? Here goes the first one. First one is placement. Anything that you're going to put out there, whether it's your product or your service, you need to see, are you placing it right geographically? For example, if you're trying to sell a Kashmiri apple and you are trying to sell that in Kashmir, do you think you'll be able to sell it better? Or do you think you'll be able to sell it better maybe at some other geography? So look at it, whether your product or your services, whether you are trying to appear as a coach in a particular geographical region. Do you think this particular geographical region is accepting coaching services, whether your target market is there or not? Or you want to go offline, online, you want to go to a different geographical region, you want to place yourself at a particular some other place where it's more accepting. If you have, let's say, steel industry, do you think you need more warehouses where you have got clusters of more shops, shopkeepers who would be ready to purchase your steel? So you need to look at the placement. So that's the first P. Second that we look at is product. Product. When I say your services can also be packaged as a product. So second thing that we look at is product. Now, what do we look at in a product? What are you selling? Kashmiri apple, right? Now, for this Kashmiri apple, can you sell this Kashmiri apple with something else? Maybe sell this in a fruit basket, package it better, and then place it in front of the audience saying, oh, this is a perfect gift for a newlywed couple. When you're going to a newlywed couple's house, this is the gift you need to take. So that's where you're packaging it. If you are a coach, let's say you're a soft skills trainer. Now, every person in the industry, in the IT industry, after a particular number of years of experience, they think that, okay, soft skills is something that we can teach, which is also true because they have been in the industry, they have had the experience. But how do they differentiate themselves? That's where your product, what kind of product you're selling, how you're packaging it matters. So that's the second P. The third P is the pricing. How are you pricing it? We have looked at the target audience. We have looked at the packaging part of it. But do you understand the pricing? Do you see that whether your target market is going to accept this kind of pricing or not? For example, if you're trying to sell a book worth 300 rupees or so, you're going to a school to sell this book. Now, are the students going to purchase this book? Students are not the right audience. Parents are the right audience. Students cannot purchase something worth 300, 400, 500 rupees. They can hardly afford something worth 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 20 rupees because they get only canteen money, pocket money, or something of that sort. Or which tier college or which tier school are you going to? So all these things you need to see and look at the pricing along with it. And the last P, the fourth P, promotion. This is where your social media marketing, your digital marketing, your Facebook ads, your Amazon ads, or any kind of ads come into picture. So before you land yourself into promoting your products, you need to look at marketing as a whole. And that's where all P's of marketing comes handy. When you feel that, oh, I've done enough on social media and something is not selling out for me, look at all the 4 P's. Can you repeat those 4 P's with me? Unmute yourself and tell me the first P.
Placement.
Place,
Placement. Second,
Product.
product,
product. Third,
price,
Price.
pricing. Fourth,
promotion.
Promotion.
here you go. I think you're ready to market yourself or your services or your product in the market. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you to DTM Nancy for such a fantastic speech and reviving the memories of 4 P's. There are 2 more P's. A lot of MBA schools, they call it 6 P's. People and process are the 2 more P's, which they teach some of the MBA schools. But great, great, and it totally revived the memory of our MBA classes. Thank you, DTM Toastmaster, and big round of applause for DTM Toastmaster Nancy Goel. So with this, we move to our speaker number 5, Toastmaster Michael Joshuva, and I can see the evaluator Toastmaster Sunil. Now, Toastmaster Michael is attempting Path Presentation Mastery, Level 1, Project 3, project name Intro to Vocal Variety and Body Language. And project objective is for member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance speech. Timer, please note the speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Now let me introduce Toastmaster Michael. Michael is founder and CEO of McJoss Cybersecurity with over 14 years of experience in cybersecurity. He has protected his business in leader roles at Infosys, Wipro, and EY. Now through his company, he helped the organization secure their digital assets. So, Toastmaster Michael, our parents' courage versus our modern battles. Our parent courage versus our modern battles. Toastmaster Michael.
In today's world, we celebrate success, intelligence, and influence. But rarely we celebrate something that our parents lived everyday life. The word that defined our parents' generation and the same seems to be fade in our generation. The word courage. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I just take you to the short session about my parents' courage to mine and to us. I want to talk about my father. My father's courage, I admired. He is an angry man. When he has a louder voice, when he angry, people get tremble. I actually thought, why he is so arrogant? He did a lot of things. Though he is no more now, I still thinking about his courageousness. I'll tell you 3 incidents today. 15 years ago, when my father was working in Malaysia, he has a small steel shop. At that time, one day, night, burglars just entered into the shop. They threatened him to give all the money which he has now. If I am in that place, I would please take all the money, leave me. I want to escape from that. I want to act like smart. But my father just confronted them, just pushed them away. Though he has small scars in his fingers, small nerves, like the nerves has been cut. But he didn't give up. He confronted them, throw them away, and he has won that. That's a raw courage I saw with him. The second incident, when we are at our native place, at 12th standard, we just draw the car with my father along with my mom. Suddenly he stopped somewhere. He just stepped out of the car. I saw some mob were fighting with the elder person. My father ran towards them and yelled at them, "Hey guys, what you are doing? Just stop that." Suddenly, everything has stopped. So inside the car, we were thinking like, what he is doing? Why he is so arrogant? My mom, I told my mom, it's so dangerous. He never know what type of guys they are. Then he came back. After some time, I thought that he never had a second thought when there is to show the braveness. After that, the third incident, when I was studying 12th standard, we just want to, I want to buy a shoe. So I asked my dad, let's go to the shop. So we went to the local shop to buy a shoe. So me and my father went to multiple shops and finally I decided to bought something, pair of shoes. I told my father, that's a shoe I liked. My father said, okay, you can buy it. He asked the shopkeeper, what's the price? Shopkeeper said, it's just 5,000 only, sir. My father, 5,000. Joshua, let's go. So what happened? I said, okay, dad, let's come. I thought inside that, oh, I like that shoes. Just when we turned left side, shopkeeper said, sir, you can take it for 4,800. I thought, okay, he has reduced the price. But my father said, Joshua, let's go out, come. When we started to enter the door, shopkeeper just came towards us and said, sir, you can take it for 4,500. I was like surprised. Oh, finally I got this shoe. My father told me that, I told you to come out. Why you are waiting here? After some time, I realized why he is doing this. Shopkeeper asked him, why? What you want? My father told him that this is just 1,500. I was like, 1,500, who will give it? I was embarrassed. I just want to move away. My father, he negotiated like anything. He just confronted the shopkeeper. Finally, you know what happened? We bought it for 1,800. I was, how this has happened? That day I realized I was on a fear. What people will think if I go for lower prices? In the name of decency, I was like wearing some mask like fear. Okay. After I realized that when we go for a shop, when some people sell it for a higher price, we don't want to negotiate. We thought that, okay, we have to be very decent. We should not. But our parents immediately say that's a higher price. You should not buy that. When you go to any restaurant, if we have any meals that is not good, our parents, if we are there, they would say that this is not good. Take it away. Bring the next one. But us, just quietly whisper to our friends, hey, this food is not good. But after some time, we keep the tips and go away. So we think that what that server think of us if I don't keep that tips. So friends, I'm telling you, don't confuse fear with decency. Don't let politeness overcome the truth. Be bold, be decent, and above all, be courageous. Thank you and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joshuva, for such a great message. And I totally agree with you that our parents were quite brave in lot of aspects. Maybe negotiation, maybe confronting wrong things. Totally agree with you. And we think a lot. We think a lot about law and then XYZ things and what other people will think. But yeah, I totally agree with you that our parents were much, much, much courageous as compared to us. Thank you, Toastmaster Joshua. Now, with this, I'll move to our sixth speaker. Our sixth speaker is Toastmaster Samita Kar. Evaluator is Toastmaster Priya, and I can see Toastmaster Priya present. And Toastmaster Samita has already been introduced, so I'm not going to introduce her. Toastmaster Samita is attempting Path Dynamic Leadership, Level 2, Project 2. Project name is Understanding Your Communication Style. Timer, please note, duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Oops. Toastmaster Samita, oops. Wrong tone again. Oops, wrong tone again. Toastmaster Samita.
The moment we are born in this world, we start communicating. We communicate because we want our needs to be fulfilled, be it food or comfort, or maybe sometimes. By the time we start learning how to talk and we reach our teenage years, always we feel that we have learned everything about communication. A decade or two later, you are absolutely sure that you know how to communicate. But for me, I had this in my mind. When I started learning about communication in my Toastmasters journey, I realized there was much more to it. And then I decided to learn about communication. I realized all the four, the passive, the aggressive, the assertive, the submissive, we need to learn. But where to use it? You will be pleasantly surprised to know after learning where did the practical application happen? Within the classroom? Oh no, it was in a mall. Now, shopping is a lovely experience. All of us enjoy shopping, or most of us do. It was my daughter's birthday. I wanted to buy a dress for her. Took her along to one of the fancy shops in a mall. We went on looking for the dress, and suddenly she spied on one dress and she absolutely fell in love. Actually, the dress was really beautiful, unique. Why unique? Because instead of buttons, they had given cute high heel shaped cufflink. And that enhanced the dress definitely. Only problem, the dress needed some adjustment and we had to leave it in the shop. I said, no problem at all. I'll come tomorrow and I'll pick it. Never did I think that the trip to that shop will become the learning experience of my communication style. The next day, I went, I gave the slip. When they gave me the dress, I looked and I realized, oops, the cufflinks were missing. The beauty of the dress was those cufflinks. Now, it was partly my fault. I should have taken it back. I tried pleading with them in my most soft voice that I could muster. Please, can you check where this cuffling is? I'm sure it is a small product. It might have fallen somewhere. Can you please? The shop assistant. Madam, there is no cuffling. I said, but the dress is from your shop and I can see a couple more dresses out there. Surely you must have an extra piece somewhere. By now, I was getting a little desperate because my daughter's birthday was round the corner. I thought to myself, okay, even if I need to pay, I will pay and take it. I then went to the shop assistant. I said, Can you please check if you have an extra pair? I'm ready to pay. Ma'am, go outside and buy. You know, something snapped with it. It was not anger. It was awareness. I was paying for a product and I needed that. I changed. I just changed my way of communication. I stood up and said, I need to see the floor manager right now. I wasn't angry. I did not shout, but I was assertive. Magic. Within 2 minutes, poof, the couplings were in my hand. I looked at him and said, why did you not do this earlier? Is this the way you treat the customers who come here? You being the floor manager, you needed to be sure that your shopping assistant don't behave like this. I was aggressive and gave him a piece of my mind. They stood with their head bowed down. Silence. The floor manager came running, apologizing to me again and again, offering me certain benefits. I looked up, I smiled and walked away. While walking away, the thought that was there in my mind was, communication is like a set of tools. We need to know when to use what. One size doesn't fit all. We need to know when to keep quiet. We need to know when to speak lightly, softly, submissively. We also need to know when to be assertive and when to roar if need be. That is the beauty of the different styles of communication. It lets you have your work done. Remember, Toastmasters, when you are walking out into the real world, your correct communication style will let you go places. And if not, if you made the slip, like me, being submissive for a very long time, then say, oops, my tone was wrong. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samita Kar, for a marvelous speech and giving the message that right communication at right time may work wonders. And that exactly we saw when you got your cufflinks from the store, from the manager. Great story, really loved it. Now a big round of applause for Toastmaster Samita Kar. Now with this we come to our seventh speaker, Toastmaster Deepak Misra, and the evaluator is DTM Ranjini Rao. I'll request DTM Ranjini Rao to confirm her presence.
Yes, Toastmaster today, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So Toastmaster Deepak is attempting Path Innovative Planning, Level 3, Project number 2. Project name is Inspire Your Audience, and its page duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Now let me introduce Toastmaster Deepak. He is a mechanical engineer with a passion for reading and poetry. He works as a program manager at Rishi Hood University in Haryana, where his engineering background helps him solve problems creatively, while his love for books and poetry keeps him inspired. Toastmaster Deepak, from failure to faith, Toastmaster Deepak.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Today I am here to give a speech on the topic from failure to faith. 12 failures, 0 confidence, 100% dedication. That's not from a motivational book. It's my life. I failed 12 times in SSB interviews, dreaming to join Indian Armed Forces. Each time I walked in with hope, but walked out hearing no. At first, I laughed it off, then came the fifth, the 10th, and the last, the 12th attempt. But then I stopped believing myself. When people asked what's next, I had no answer. Because when your only dream, when your only dream breaks, the silence that follows is heavy. But life has a strange way of guiding. It doesn't always give signs, it just pushes you. That's how I began my teaching career. A path I never planned, but one that found me. And as years passed, that path led me into management. I didn't start with confidence, I started with commitment. I had nothing to prove to the world, only to myself. So I said yes to every task. No leaves, no holidays, no excuses. When you're not the smartest in the room, you work like you are. Slowly, people trusted me. Colleagues asked me for help. One day I realized I was leading, not through title, but through exam. That's when I learned leadership doesn't come from position. It comes from consistency. Looking back, those 12 failures don't hurt anyone. They didn't break me, they built me. They taught me patience when I wanted quick results, humility when I thought I knew enough, and discipline when I wanted comfort. Most of all, they taught me no one can defeat you until you stop showing up. And I never did. There's a line from one of my favorite books, Mike Tyson's autobiography. You give a weak man some strength and he becomes addicted. That's me. Once life gave me strength, I became addicted to growth. Not success, growth. Because success depends on luck, but growth depends on you. Today, I don't see myself as someone who never failed, but as someone who learned to fail better. I started my career with fear, but now I move with faith. Faith in effort, faith in timing, faith in myself. Confidence doesn't come before actions, it comes after it. Every time you try again, even when scared, you will believe. And one day, that belief becomes your strength. As I begin the next chapter, I don't carry trophies or titles. I carry belief. And that belief whispers every morning. You have failed enough times to know you can rise again. Maybe that's what faith really means. Not living without failure, but standing up each time it happens. So let's see where this belief takes me next. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak, for an outstanding speech and giving the message that should not be bogged down by failure, but try to stand every time. Great message and great speech. And with this, I'll move to our speaker number 8. Our speaker number 8 is Toastmaster Rahul, and the evaluator is Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh. I'll request Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh to confirm her presence.
Yes, I am there.
Okay, thank you. Toastmaster Rahul is attempting Path Dynamic Leadership, Level 4, Project 1. Project name is Question and Answer Session. And project objective is for member to learn about and practice facilitating a question answer session for member to practice delivering an informative speech and running a well-rounded question answer session. Speech duration is 15 to 20 minutes. And let me introduce Toastmaster Rahul. He is a network engineer at Walmart. He loves solving complex connectivity problems by day and hitting the road for run or bike right after office hours. Toastmaster Rahul, would you bet your head on it? Would you bet your head on it? Toastmaster Rahul.
Death, motorcycles go hand in hand together. They say it's like two faces of the same coin. Have you ever wondered why, as a kid or as a growing teenager, your parents never wanted you to have a motorcycle? Let me tell you why. This year, I lost my friend to a motorcycle accident. And this happened inside Bangalore city itself. Now, some of you may be wondering, was he going fast? Or was he breaking traffic rules? For the first question, no, he was not going fast. Second question, yes, he was breaking a traffic rule. And also the third answer or the third point to this unfortunate incident was that he was going at the speed of 20 kilometers and he collided into a vehicle that was coming from the opposite direction. And he was not on the wrong path. And he died this year. All because he was not wearing one of these. A helmet. Something that looks bland, but that could have saved a person. A wife lost her husband, and a daughter, a father. According to the World Health Organizations, 70% of motorcycle accidents, head injuries can be avoided, and 40% deaths can also be avoided if you just wear a helmet. And just in 2024, we lost close to 55,000 people just because of these accidents and people who are not wearing helmets. And this includes billions as well. So in today's session, I'm going to explain to you what is the importance of this and why do we need it in our life? And especially when we are on a motorcycle. Now, to start off, let me tell you what a helmet is made of. As we could see, the outer shell is usually made of a material called as polycarbonate, or in some cases, there's something called as advanced thermoplastic. And in third case, it's also called as carbon fiber. But in today's session, I'm going to show you two of these, the first two. The first one that we see over here, a brand from Bega, which I'm sure a lot of us are aware of. This is made of the first one, polycarbonate. This is lightweight, cheap, but it's also not made to withhold a lot of crashes at high speeds. But this is something called as advanced thermoplastic material. This is made to withstand high-speed crashes. Now, what does an outer shell of an helmet actually mean? This is used for two reasons only. One is whenever there's an impact, it has to make sure it's evenly distributed across the helmet. And second is the resistance, to make sure it doesn't break. That's what this outer shell is for in an helmet. Now, let me come to the insides of an helmet. As we could see, inside an helmet, we have a we could say a material. It's called polyethylene. This is made sure that whenever we are in a crash, it cushions the blow and the force is evenly distributed, so it doesn't affect us. And the third is the strap. There is two type of straps that always comes with helmets. One is called a D-ring. This is a D-ring, and the other is like a normal strap, which kind of looks like this. Now, what is a difference between these two straps itself? This one is simple. You can just put it in and just lock it like this. That's it. But this is very dangerous during crashes since it has the tendency to just come off. Whereas a D ring, we usually put it between these two rings over here like this, and it kind of goes all over the way. This is there to ensure that even during a crash, the strap never comes off, so stays with your head. This is very important when you purchase an helmet. What the shell is made of, what is the inside part, and third of all, the strap. My recommended version is always going to be to get something with a D-ring itself rather than a strap. Coming to the third one and the famous one, a design. What should it look like compared to these two? It could be either, it doesn't matter. The main thing is the certification when it comes to an helmet. Now, in India, we have something called as ISI, which is the Indian standard, and all the helmets must pass the standard and it should be certified. The manufacturer should be certified for them to sell it legally for road use in India. And as you could see here, if you could see this over here, we would be seeing an ISI symbol. I don't know if it's over here. This is the ISI. This is the Indian standard. There's also something called as DOT. DOT is the American standard. And there's also something called as EC. This is the European standard. While I would recommend, while it is mandatory for all the helmets to pass ISI, but not all the ISI helmets like the Vega one are good for high-speed crashes. So I would always recommend that we go with something with ECE or DOT, or at least preferably with that ECE. So this is tested in global levels and it holds a lot of credibility. So now we understood what the use of an helmet is. I would like to open the forum right now for any questions, and if you have any doubts on what to choose an helmet for, or what its purpose, or if you have any troubles in any other questions, yeah, I'll open the forum right now itself. Any questions?
I can ask for something. It's not a question. Like how you explained to us. Rahul, can you tell me, like, where have you taken this message? How have you ever taken it out beyond to talk to many people? And if so, how has it been received?
So initially when I got into bikes, the first thing which I started learning was helmets. So as a beginner, you always look for designs, I would say, rather than what an helmet is actually for. You see something fancy like this, you'll be like, yeah, this is what I want. This looks like something a racer would wear, right? So that's where I got my information from. I also, over the years of riding with people, and we see a lot of people talk about this, and that's where I got to know most of my information from. Yeah, Nancy, you also have a question.
Thank you.
So, Rahul, whatever you have mentioned about helmets, that's surely new information for me. But most of my travels or commute on my two-wheeler is within the city. So there's no high-speed commute or anything of that sort. Do you still recommend me to let go of my Vega helmet and look for an easy one?
To be really honest with you, I would say yes, because again, short or long distances, an impact is an impact, a crash is a crash. It's always not needed that these accidents happens at highways. It could also happen, like my friend, unfortunately, it could happen within the city as well. So it is recommended that we always go with EC rather than ISI. ISI, I would say, is a bare minimum. We have Indian brands like Vega and Studs and SMK, something you might have heard of. Whereas something like MT, KYT is something which follows the the global standards. I would say EC is more of European standards. So I would recommend you, yes, just for your better safety. But if you have to stick with Vega, yes, at least please do wear Vega at least for your short commutes.
Thank you.
So thank you, Nancy. Uh, anyone else have a question? Yes, Renu.
Yeah, my question is with regard to the straps that you tie on the neck, right?
Mhm.
On in front of the throat. Somehow, I have also heard about accidents wherein these straps cause the suffocation or the bone to break and thereby proving fatal. So, how are these straps among the different helmets that you just explained are like safe?
Mhm.
Well, I would say like that.
So basically, the idea of a strap is to make sure that in case of an accident, the helmet sticks to your head, right? You
Right.
don't want the helmet to go away from your head. That's going to cause more impact. So since you
Right.
asked this question, I'll also tell you, like, if you were to see in this helmet, you call something called as pull. Can you see over here, pull? This is in case of accidents, Renu, like we could just pull this padding off. Like, let's say the element is sticking to your face, we can just pull this off. So the padding itself comes, so it releases your head with it. So it's very important in cases like that. That's why they are given us a feature for this. So yes, and this is not even like a crazy amount of helmet. Like I mean, like not crazy amount. I barely spend like 7 to 8K itself, and we get these features in all these helmets itself. Thank you for your question. Yes, Toastmaster Priya.
Rahul, I had one very simple question, but whenever I look at these helmets, the moment I see it having a lot of padding inside, it kind of makes me already feel claustrophobic. I feel, oops, if I put this on my head, I'm going to suffocate. And I tend to perspire a lot. So I prefer using lightweight helmets. What's your take on that? I mean, I really would like to know.
Yes, well, I do understand what you mean. It does perspire, and I do understand it gets very sweaty, right? So when you get an helmet, it's very important that you buy an helmet which has a padding of, it shouldn't be too tight to your face. Like when it sticks to you, you should be able to move your jaws to a certain limit. Whereas it shouldn't be too loose where it just moves along. When it comes to perspiration, you can use something called a baklava. It's something like how you wear, like it's like it's something that looks like this. You just put on your head. I think you might have seen this photos where people put onto their head. You can try using that. So it there is a fear that if you have long hair, it's kind of a little tough to put it on. At least from a little bit of experience of growing my hair out, I can say that it isn't that tough. Once you get used to it, it definitely is a life changer. Again, like don't trade your safety for a little bit of discomfort. That's a main takeaway. Uh, I hope I answered your question, Toastmaster Priya. Thank you. Okay. Next, I'd like to take Toastmaster Samita's question.
Yes, my question was that the first helmet that you showed, bigger one,
Yeah.
and the other one that you showed. During a crash, which one do you think the bigger one will break or something? More.
Okay. So this is a question which is a little tough to answer because helmet is not a full. It's not like a death proof kind of thing. It's compared to this shell. This has a tendency to break off faster. Like even if I could, I don't know. Like I don't know if you could hear the noise. it sounds really light. Whereas
Mhm.
you take something like this, you could also feel that it's a bit more protected. I would say this could withstand a lot more like force at high speeds compared to the Vega one. And again, like this is just going to increase your chance of survival. That's what helmets are basically for. If you're going at fast, anything, to be really honest with you, if you're going anything about 60, 70, I wouldn't bet my life on this at all. I would just go slow if I'm wearing this. That's what I would like say to you.
What is your personal favorite?
This is my personal favorite, and this is something which I got from my dad. So this is not something which I use, but this is my personal favorite.
Okay.
Thank you for your question, Toastmaster Samita. Yes, Toastmaster Isha.
Toastmaster Rahul, I
Um,
should be flashing the green card, but I can't resist asking. I am a Rapido user, so what do
okay.
you recommend for pillion riders? What sort of helmet do you recommend for pillion riders?
First of all, if you're a regular rapid or like user of that, I would say get your own helmet because whatever they're gonna give you in Rapido is of no use. It's basically a cap. It's just a sophisticated form of cap what they're giving you. Get anything. I would like to touch upon the subject since you asked me the question. So anything between 1,000 to 4,000, you can try getting in our Indian brand itself. But if you can stretch your budget from 5,000 to 8,000, you can find different manufacturers like the MT helmets. MT is a good one. KYT is good, like the one I showed you. This is a KYT one. And they have a starting series, like you can always go check out like in regular in person itself. And also one more thing is that we have two types of helmets. One is a full faced, and I'm pretty sure you've seen these Rapido drivers, the one with the half faced one. It's always recommended you get a full faced because you wouldn't want your face to be plastered onto the road, right? If something happens. So that's one of the reasons why I would recommend a full face. But I would say that stretch your budget at least to 5,000, 6,000 if you're a regular commuter. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Toastmaster Rahul, I feel enlightened. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your question, Toastmaster Isha. Um, so there's one more thing which I would like to touch upon. Since we're on the topic of budgets. So we have multiple brands in India. I would like to start off with our well-known ones. You know, we have seen Axer, Vega, even Studs and SNK. These four all fall under Indian categories. And for the most part, these four have ISI standards. But if we were to look a little bit more than 4,000, 5,000, we would be touching upon things like the KYT or the MT helmets or even NHK. So KYT and NHK is both Indonesian. Just so I'm going giving a little background on where these comes from. But all of these tests like EC is done in European standards. So even though the manufacturers from is from Indonesian, but they do all the tests over there. And also like for people who are a little bit interested, what's a little bit above than our normal helmets is something called as carbon fiber. It's pretty super lightweight and it gives you like a lot of protection. It's usually used for people who race at tracks. Those are people who usually go for this. And I would recommend, or in my experience from talking to people, Japanese brands are the ones which people usually rely on, like Arai, Shoei, and these usually cost around 30,000 to 40,000. And they look really pretty for me at least. And that's one of the things when it comes to helmet. Does anyone else have any other question on the forum? If you have any questions regarding choosing an helmet is, or why do we need an helmet, or any questions regarding that? I believe we have a minute at least, I believe. Okay. Since there is no questions, I would like to end the session with this saying. Wearing an helmet doesn't guarantee your survival, but it's always going to increase your chances of survival or death. As the saying goes, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is the king. The same thing. In the land of the dead, even a man with a single leg or a single hand shall be known as a king. With that, I would like to hand the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul, for such an informative session, and thank you for enlightening us. and such a sensitive subject, wearing helmet, which is very critical. And as you rightly said, in the land of death, even that can be a big thing to save your life. What a session. I love the question answer round. And a big round of applause for Toastmaster round. Now with this, we'll take a 5 minutes break and we'll again assemble at 9 o'clock after 5 minutes. And we'll then proceed with the evaluation round. Next session is the feedback. Now the next session is the feedback session. And here our evaluators will give a feedback on all the speakers. Our evaluator number 1 is Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas, and Toastmaster Jyothi will be evaluating speaker number 1, Toastmaster Pareikh. Let me introduce Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas. Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas is a social entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and certified corporate trainer with over 35 years of experience across family business, banking, and IT in India and Canada. A dedicated Toastmaster since 2006, she has excelled in all contest categories, serving currently as Pathways Chair for District 120. Having completed all 11 Toastmasters paths, Jyothi continues her 5th in the enhanced LMS. A dual club member, she integrates training, mentorship, and social impact to empower purposeful growth. So, a big round of applause for Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas, and over to you, Toastmaster Jyothi Thomas.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. I'm going to quickly check with the timer there. All right.
Yes, everybody is on time.
No, I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to see where you are. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Let me start with Jay. The same question you asked all of us. Have you ever given the speech before? Aha! Did you pull a fast one that it was your icebreaker? You nailed it right there. Opening with a question is a ceiling of a good public speaker. You didn't just introduce yourself to the club, you also introduced the strength within you. Those are all my commendations. It is not easy to display vulnerability. That shows authenticity. That is something which is brilliant when it comes to your icebreaker speech. So these are the things I truly admired. What else did I see in it? You wonderfully brought out the setbacks that you had in your life. I looked at it as flowing between 3 parts: challenge, growth, success. And that is through persistence. I think that is yet another point. You also said it was something beyond. You brought across the genre of being part of a gamer, AI technology. It was beyond educational accolades. You showed the other side of you for your own new club. And I think the first speech within a month, kudos, and those are the brilliant things that stood out to me. Since you spoke so well, we are avaricious. I'm like Oliver Twist, give me more. So what do I want? I want to see you keep moving up and up and up. I would say it's recommendation. I'm going to ask a humble suggestion if you would like to take it forward, because you will keep going places. Streamlining the time. In between, you spoke about your technology, the love for all that, and then you brought in your 9th grade. Because you speak so well, if you can just put everything in different chronological way, it would have been even better. Another thing is a key phrase where I wish you had brought in something. You spoke about you kept failing and failing and failing. Think about using it with a different twist when you said, I failed again, yet they chose to believe me and gave me the admission. That would have shown the other side of you, right? So that is my observation for your consideration. In summary, I would like to say a wonderful core message that you gave. You said missing pieces. Failure doesn't break us. It's the missing pieces that bring you to success, is one point. What was my takeaway? That's important. We were sitting and listening to you. Believe in perseverance. Everything can come. Don't let anything shake. And if you can just remember to stand up and deliver, it will make you look ooh la la, even at the end of it. So that's what I would like to say for a brilliant speech, and bingo on completing your purpose of your speech. You can mark it checked, and I'm sure Gabbys is very delighted to have somebody like you. A round of applause for the young and new Toastmaster into the club. You did very well. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi, for exceptional evaluation. And with this, I'll move to the evaluator number 2. And the evaluator number 2 is Toastmaster Gaurav Babu. And he's evaluating speaker number 2, Toastmaster Renu Kaushal. Can you spotlight both Toastmaster Gaurav Babu and Renu? Yeah. Toastmaster Gaurav is a design engineer based in Bangalore, holds an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering and a postgraduate degree in tool engineering. He's passionate about gaming, bike rides, and sketching. Eager to enhance his public speaking and leadership abilities, he joined the Toastmaster Club and look forward to making new friends. So, with this, I hand over the virtual stage to Toastmaster Gaurav Babu for his evaluation.
The Toastmaster Renu, that wasn't just one speech, one icebreaker speech. It felt like sailing to the brighter side. And yeah, it wasn't just icebreaker, but you were able to persuade us to actually view things in a positive sense. You have this amazing ability, First of all, your voice is very soothing. It's so soothing. I'm pretty sure you can change anyone in this world. It's that soothing. So that's a huge compliment to your voice, to your speech. And moving on the story, the way you took it, right? Starting off a flop movie. From a flop movie, you were sitting in the theaters. And then you were in the kitchen cooking for the guests, for your friends. And through this, you just somehow compiled it and you showed us how to view things in a positive sense. The way you took things from part 1 to part 2 to part 3, the flow was amazing and I loved every bit of it. When it comes to persuasion, what comes hand to hand is your voice modulation and your body language and a bit of your facial expressions. That is few places where you could improve on to persuade someone in a better manner, maybe 10x more. For example, in the theaters, you were in the theaters with your friends, right? Your friend gave a small nudge, and this is how you said. Your friend gave a little nudge, they pulled you out in 1 hour, and you asked them what happened. Instead, just think if you could do it this way. My friend gave a little nudge, and they pulled me out in 1 hour. I asked them what happened, right? So voice modulation does not only mean going up and down, but the pace as well. So you increase the pace, that increases the curiosity in the audience. Along with that, you have used amazing grammar as well. You have used rule of 3, if I'm not wrong. You said love, care, and connections. That was amazing. What if you could just point it out? For example, love, care, and connections. Wouldn't that make a better impact? Adding on, you also mentioned something like when you love what you do, it's like chopping onions, right? What if you could actually show chopping onions? That would bring out a better impact. Overall, Toastmaster Renu, you have an amazing voice. I'm pretty sure you can influence anyone, you can persuade anyone. So that's your biggest asset when it comes to your speech. Along with that, a bit of body language, vocal variety, which includes pace as well, would take your speech to the very highest level. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav, for a clinical evaluation. And let's hear for both the speaker and the evaluator. Now, moving to our next evaluator. Evaluator number 3 is TM Pulkit Gupta, and he's evaluating DTM Sourav Dutta. Now, let me introduce TM Pulkit. TM Pulkit is a software engineer by profession. He has been a Toastmaster for the last 3 years. He was first runner-up District 124 Humorous Speech Contest in 2024. Now, Toastmaster Pulkit, over to you for your evaluation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sachin. Sourav, I think you're not just back as a funnier you're back as a newer you in this new avatar as you take on this engaging humor pathway. Let's dive into the commendations straight away. Now, when we start a speech, we have two modalities to start. Either we start with a direct perspective of what the speech is going to be about, or we start with an indirect or what we call a parallel perspective. Now, parallel perspectives are better, and Sourav chose the latter. So when he started with this very bold move of having a two-way communication and then bringing that to him, humor is like gulping down an avocado. That's what we call a parallel perspective. Instead of just saying humor is something he does not like, he brought in a metaphorical flavor to it. And let me tell you, as a pro move, especially with a two-way communication impromptu occurring. So hats off to you, Sourav. He also had stakes in his speech. What makes a speech interesting? What makes a speech increase the curiosity of the audience? When you bring in stakes. At very start, he established he's someone who hates humor. But here he is doing engaging humor pathway. It raises curiosity. Why? Why would someone who hates humor choose the EH pathway all over again? Not only he raises stakes and resolves it, he also creates a loop closure when he answers the why. He answers that why EH is because he is looking to reinvent himself. That's a complete loop closure and amazingly done. Also, he had callbacks in his speech. Again, that was impromptu callbacks, which is a pro level move. So he had how he brought in the glass of water and gulp it down at the very start. He brought in again at some point in his speech when he said that to him, giving humorous speeches was basically gulping down water. And that was again impromptu level callback. Again, hats off to you there. But when it comes to a few recommendations, sort of here it is. The very first recommendation, definitely for me, was the dangerous maneuver at the very start. Now, variety is good, but what if the speaker you are speaking to in a two-way communication decides to hold stage for longer? This is where things could be dangerous. That being said, it worked for you. And anyways, variety is good. Second is, if you zoom out on the macro structure of your speech, Saurabh, how it was going on, you had problem statements in the first half. Soon the solution happened without a guru coming in. So you're talking about problems that you hate humor, that it's like gulping down water, and suddenly you realize that everyone has a different genre of humor. The unanswered question that bled in my mind was how? How did sort of just was talking about problems at this moment? How did the solution come out of thin air? The basic try and test method over here is you bring in conflict, you escalate a conflict, you bring in a guru who ultimately leads you to a resolution, a climax. But that wasn't the case. The problems was presented, and out of thin air, the solutions start coming in. Genre of humor, we all have funny bone, and that, as an audience, felt little the incongruity creeped into a mind. Unanswered questions bled. How did sort of change out of thin air? That's my recommendation. Have the try and tested conflict, escalation of conflict, a guru comes in, you learn something, climax comes in. That's a try and test methodology. Let's stick to that as a suggestion. Dangerous maneuver, but work for you. But keep up with the stakes, keep up with the callbacks and the parallel perspective opening. And I'm sure sort of your engaging humor, newer journey will definitely end with you being funnier you. Over to you, Sachin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pulkit Gupta, for a fantastic evaluation, and kudos to both speaker and the evaluator for outstanding performance. With this, I'll move to our evaluator number 4, DTM Rajanikanth Reddy. He is going to evaluate speaker number 4, DTM Nancy Goel. DTM Rajanikanth is a computer science engineer currently working for Open Text with 18 years of experience. Presently, he is the District 92 Area B1 Director. So over to you, DTM Rajanikanth, for your evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sachin. Nancy Goel and DTM. And your speech, and the speech with a purpose. It has served a purpose with your speech. You have good start throughout. And in the beginning, the question that you have asked for the personal branding or for a company branding, what are the measures that can be taken? You have asked the questions to audience, and you have heard what is that it looks like for individual for market themselves. You have good command on what is that you are going to speak, and you have well structured your speech, and your topic for piece of marketing, that means it gives a very chance for you to speak about each P of it. The first P of the placement, a product, a pricing, and a promotion. About all P's, you have connected audience very well, and you have given a right examples where that particular P that has to be used and where that doesn't suits. These measures you have taken very well. And conclusion also, you have called out how what is that they have understood, whether whatever you have spoken was it connected to the audience, and you have asked the audience to unmute and talk about it. That is how you have delivered your speech. The content was very apt, and you have delivered it very well, DTM Nancy. And towards some improvement areas, now during your speech the background has killed your whatever image that you have. Sometimes in between I have lost you and of whom I'm talking. Maybe this is for a virtual stage, I'm not good, but I felt that okay, you could have removed that black background blur. Sometimes I have got some disconnect on how you are speaking. And on this, whatever the piece that you have talked about, for each of it, you have given different examples. In case if there is anything that you could take it about a placement, a product, a pricing, and a promotion, is there any one product that you could take and connect it on the content part? Or if anything that okay, we should not be taking individual pieces that were taken. That is one thing I felt okay towards some improvement. So these are the some improvement that I have on the content as well as a delivery aspect, and towards a voice modulation as well. You have that tone. This is I'm not sure whether this can be taken it too high, but for this that was apt. Maybe this can be seen because I didn't see that where if there is anything that you could stress more, maybe these parts that can be taken. DTM Nancy. Otherwise, right, that the purpose of speech has been served very well. All the best, and wish you all the best in this pathway as well. What your team had, Sachin?
Thank you, DTM Rajanikanth, for a marvelous evaluation. And let's give a big hand to both the speaker and the evaluator. Now, with this, I'll move to our evaluator number 5, Toastmaster Sunil Gupta. And he's going to evaluate speaker number 5, Toastmaster Michael Joshuva. Can you spotlight both Sunil and Toastmaster Joshuva? Now, Toastmaster Sunil, let me introduce him. Very enthusiastic about learning new things to evolve himself, have an ardent passion for playing cricket and speaking in English, and a strong believer in simplicity, integrity, and hard work. He has joined Toastmaster to develop speaking English and communication skills. In addition, he always prefer to build good and strong relationships to enhance his human assets. Over to you, Toastmaster Sunil, for your evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Michael, you were not speaking about your father, but also about my father. Being a Bania, he used to negotiate a lot. I think more than your father. The main highlights of your speech were, I loved your thought-provoking opening. We should celebrate not only our success, our influence, but also about parents' life, their courage, their difficulties, or how they overcome those difficulties. Second, a very relatable story. As I mentioned that my father used to negotiate a lot. Your father's courage in three different situations. And I love particularly that situation when your father, brought the shoes price from 5,000 to 1,800. I totally resonated with your story. Now I'm going to give you some areas of improvement as to vocal variety and body language, because it was the purpose of your project. Body language. I noticed that after every sentence or after every two sentences, you were keeping your fingers like this, fingers interlaced. So it shows that somewhere you are nervous, or it shows your diffidence. So what we should do? We should keep your hands open like this. This is an open and inviting gesture. Second, voice modulation. Your pace was okay. Your power volume was okay. But pitch. You used a high pitch throughout your speech. Somewhere you can use a low pitch voice, particularly for example, when you complain about, to your mother about your father. Hey mom, what father is doing in this way? So voice modulation and inflection adds, more emphasis and more emotion to your words. To sum up, I can say that it was an interesting speech with a thought-provoking opening and quite relatable story. If you could have used, open and inviting body language and voice modulation and inflection in your speech, your speech would have been more impactful, more effective, more expressive. So try to use such recommendation in your next speeches. I look forward to hear your next speech. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sunil Gupta, for such a wonderful and impactful evaluation. Let's clap for both the speaker and the evaluator. Now, with this, we'll move to our evaluator number 6, who is Toastmaster Priya Singh, and she'll be evaluating speaker 6, Toastmaster Samita Kar. Now, few words about Toastmaster Priya. She's a marketing professional and academician in business management. She's passionate about creative writing and poetry. Her podcast, Soulful Scrolls, is her dedicated effort to the craft of poetic expression. She joined Toastmaster to enhance her public speaking skills and become an influence voice to inspire others. So over to you, Toastmaster Priya, for your evaluation.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, for the wonderful introduction. Toastmaster Samita Kar. Oops, wrong tone again. Well, I must say it was the right tone that you used for the purpose of your speech, and a great congratulations to you for being able to fulfill the purpose of your project by explaining your communication style as well as highlighting the other communication styles. So kudos to you for such a beautiful story. The beginning itself really hooked me when you said that the moment we are born, we start communicating. It was a very profound statement, and it really made me get engaged, wanting to know what exactly you're going to bring in your story today. And the other beautiful part was that you gave your story a location, that is so important because it immediately transported me into a mall and I could visualize the entire scene that you described, and it was so relatable. So it was a wonderful curated speech with a beautiful story and hitting the nail right on the practical application of communication style. Your body language, voice modulation, gestures were on point, beautifully displayed, and the way you transitioned your voice from the shopkeeper's voice, where he summoned you to leave and told you there is no cuffling available, you had a very admonishing tone there. And then you moved on from your own submissive voice to a voice where you brought in assertiveness and told them, call the manager. I want to see the manager right now. That was beautifully done. So kudos to you for bringing about that transition in your voice modulation. And further, if I could just give some minor suggestions to make your speech more impactful. One would be that you could have used your space more appropriately. I felt there was ample space and you could have moved to your left and right when you were showing the shopkeeper and yourself, so that that transition would be more easier for us to understand. And another area that I felt was the takeaway for the audience. While you did engage the audience and give them a call of action, it could have been more impactful if you could engage them through a question wherein you make them reflect, asking them, for example, what is your communication style? Reflect on it. And can you think of situations in your life where you were forced to transition from your earlier communication style to the next? So in a summary, I would like to say it was a great speech, very authentic, very relatable story, beautifully this executed, and with all the elements of body language, gestures, voice modulation, just usage of space and a better takeaway for the audience would take the speech to the next level. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you with more speeches.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priya, for awesome evaluation. And let's hear for both the speaker and the evaluator. Now, with this, we move to our next evaluator. Our evaluator number 7 is DTM Ranjini Rao, and she is evaluating Toastmaster Deepak Misra. Let me introduce DTM Rajni. DTM Ranjini is in the teaching field for 15 years and a passionate Toastmaster. She has played various roles at club and district, winner of District 98 ISC contest, a podium finish in HSC, and a finalist in speech evaluation. She likes trying out new things, taking long walks, and enjoys eating dosa and idli. She is Ranjini Rao DTM, an MABS student at Manipal University College, Malaysia, and president of MUCM Toastmasters Club. Passionate about music and theatre, she holds a grade 3 from the London College of Music. She actively seeks opportunities to learn, connect, and grow through leadership and the performing arts. So over to you, DTM Ranjini, for your evaluation.
Now, before the timer starts, Toastmaster of the day, I think you have clubbed 2 evaluators introduction to me. So thanks a lot. I'm not a student of Manipal. This one probably that is for another evaluator. I correct myself over there. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and hearty congratulations to Toastmaster Deepak for completing your second speech of level 3. Now, the objective of the speech was to inspire the audience, and let's see how you fared. The title, Failure to Fail, was indeed itself very inspiring. We all face failures in life, don't we? And this is an apt topic for this audience. And your story was truly inspiring as well as motivating. You had a calm and composed demeanor, had diligent preparation, which effortlessly showed in your delivery, and a good command over the language. I particularly love the phrase where you said that you have failed multiple times to rise again. I was able to connect with you on this front because even I too have failed multiple times and rise again in life. And you had also an inspiring quote from Mike Tyson. You give a weak man some strength and they become addicted, and showed us who you really are. And you shared your vulnerability on the stage with courage, failing multiple times, giving excuses, sharing your failures. And that's the hallmark of a great speaker. So well done, Toastmaster Deepak, on those fronts. Now, what could elevate your speech? One, personal story with a single powerful message. You did share a part of your story, for example, failed 12 times and then moved on to multiple messages which diluted the objective of the speech. What you could have done alternatively is take one instance in your life, go in depth and show us your turmoils, how you felt physically, emotionally, how weak you were, and by whom or what you were pushed against the wall to come back to the right path. And messages should be short and hammered many times in the speech for impact. Here, I did see multiple messages that left me confused. Which message should I take in? Second, there was a lot of scope for audience interaction. That was one of the objectives of the speech as well. And this could break the monotony and make the speeches even more memorable. For example, you had a lot of scope for it. In the beginning, raise your hand if you have failed multiple times. Or did you think of quitting whenever you failed? Let me share my story to you, my friends. And in the end, you could have ended with a stronger call to action. Have you failed in your business? A Toastmasters contest? Trust me, hope my story inspires you to take the right path and you will rise again. Or something in this to leave the audience more inspired. In summation, inspiring title, you had a calm and composed demeanor, diligent preparation, good command over the language, and shared your vulnerability with courage, which is a hallmark of a great speaker. If you could select some personal story with a single message that can be hammered, which is etched in our mind, and have some audience interaction to break the monotony, I'm sure this speech could be elevated to another level. And wishing you all the very best, Toastmaster Deepak. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Thank you, DTM Ranjini, for a magnificent evaluation. And let's hear for both the evaluator and the speaker. With this, we move to the last evaluator of the day. Toastmaster Upasana goes, and Toastmaster Upasana is going to evaluate speaker number 8, Toastmaster Rahul. And a few words for Toastmaster Upasana. Toastmaster Upasana is a chirpy, happy-go-lucky bookworm who loves to eat, cook, travel, listen to music, and read about Indian mythology. She has been fortunate enough to visit 13 different countries and love exploring new cultures. Currently, she works as a senior technical writer for an MNC. Over to you, Toastmaster Upasana, for your evaluation.
A great speech is not just heard by ears, it is felt by heart and remembered by the mind. Today, Rahul truly wore many helmets of a storyteller, educator, and an influencer, all in one compelling speech. So let me take you through my evaluation, which I have divided into what worked well, what could have been improved, and a quick summary. So let's go towards the what went well for Rahul. I would say the brilliant start and analogy. When you opened your speech, you had a very relatable story and immediately linked the story to the central theme. And the way you have given the analogy of all the three helmets was very creative, visually appealing, and your message was crystal clear on the very first few sentences. Second would be the effective use of props and facts. I really love the way you have showed the helmets and each and every part of the helmet, because there are people who just know what helmet is, but differentiating it from one and another, that makes your speech very unique. And third, I would say that since I've seen you since a very long time giving your speeches, you have grown up to a very confident speaker and you have become more expressive while delivering the speech. And I'm sure the helmet topic was your favorite one. So we could see that expressions on your face, the excitement. That was really good to see. Uh, Points to improve, I would say that in some of the places, I felt that the pauses were long. There were long pauses. Maybe if you could work on that, because sometimes it does disconnect from your speech. Uh, the monotonous, it becomes a bit monotonous, and the flow gets a bit disrupted. Second, um, I would request you to enhance your vocal energy in transitions, because I can see you are excited. I can see that you are happy to express the all the things about your helmet, but I do not see a voice modulation, even when you were giving a personal story, as well as when you were saying about giving your knowledge about the helmets. And third, I would say that since helmet is a very, very familiar object for us, though we do not know the entire nitty-gritty of it. However, if the speech could, in my opinion, the speech felt a bit education session. So if you could highlight how, what is the impact of each and every helmet with giving a beautiful personal story. I mean, that would have been a greater backbone for your stories, for your all your helmets and for all the speech entirety. And in overall, I would say that your question answer segment was absolutely bang on. I really love the way you have handled each and every questions. Also, the one more point I need to add is that in each and every question, you were adding few points, what all needs to be added, or you were giving more education on if you have left something. I really love that point where you were not only educating us, but you were giving us entire details of what could be, what could have happened, what could have not happened regarding the accidents and everything. So that is very well done. You have handled the question answer session very beautifully. So in short, in summary, I would say that it was a delight to hear your speech, which was meaningful and very well researched. I must say that, and visually appealing also. With a slightly tighter pace, or if you can work on your pauses and all, and with more energy in the transitions, I think your speech will evolve more in upcoming speech marathons or upcoming your speeches. You have already wore the helmet of confidence today. Now it's time to add the visor of polished and strap of the storytelling flair. So all the very best for your future speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Upasana, for such a clinical evaluation, and a big round of applause for both the speaker and the evaluator. Now, with this, we come to the end of the evaluation session, and I must say the speech marathon was outstanding with mesmerizing speeches and great evaluations. I totally enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody else have enjoyed it. With this, I'll pass on the virtual stage to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Samita Kar.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sachin, Toastmaster Sachin Jaiswal. Let us hear for him conducting the speech marathon in such a lovely manner. With this, we come to the end of today's speech marathon. We are at Gabbys, one family having two clubs. That means we meet twice a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays. We will meet again on Saturday at 10 a.m. Till then, bye-bye, good night, and see you on Saturday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.